good morning everyone. Have a great day. Welcome you all to our joyful month. Today we are going to see chapter 26, Export and Import Procedures. In this lesson we are going to see export, meaning, export and import bank, main function, objectives, role of commercial bank, procedures, preparation of commercial invoice and intermediaries in export trade. Next one, import trade. In the subheading also we are going to see meaning, objectives, procedure, documents used in import trade. What are the documents we are used in the import trade? We will see later. And intermediaries in import trade, children. Let's see the videos.
Meaning of export, we will send the goods to other country, it means export, isn't it? We will get the goods from other country to India, it's called as import. Okay children, so what is the meaning of procedure? Procedure is the established or official way of doing something. In this lesson we are going to see first one, learning objectives. What are these? Let's see. Explain the need and importance of export trade. Describe the various procedure followed in the export trade. State the role of intermediaries of export trade. Explain the various procedures followed and the intermediaries involved in import trade. In this lesson we are going to see export and the functions. Let's see. Export trade. What is that? Export have attained a greater importance in a contemporary world. It has emerged as one of the vital indicators of a national social, economical and political growth. No country in the world can produce all the goods and services in record. They have to inevitably buy and sell from one another. Therefore, countries have to engage in international trade. Export and import represent two sides of the same coin of international trade. Okay, this is an international of a theme or motive or ethics is a example of a coin. It's a both side is useful to that coin. So export and import is both is very important to the international trade. In other words, the countries have to buy the goods which are either not available are not adequately available in a home country and sell the surplus goods. Surplus means we want more goods. Okay, shortage of goods. Services produced by to the other countries which need them at most. In short, each and every country has to export surplus goods and import the defect goods. In this process, it earns the prestigious foreign exchange and use the foreign exchange thus earned for import goods which cannot be produced or adequately produced in home country. Okay children, so export means we'll send the goods to other country. Is one of for example, export and import is very important to the international business, I mean international trade. Okay. Developing the countries like India. So nowadays we are developing. What are the countries? India, Bangladesh, South Korea and so on. Substantial amount of foreign exchange in order to acquire machineries, equipment, raw materials, petroleum products, minerals, resources, technical know-how, managerial talent and so on for their faster economic development. So these are all the main developing of components. Okay, we are developing means we have to develop our growth in this field. So Government of India has initiated several steps to encourage the export. So government, they announced some steps to motivate the businessman to export side. It has been promoting export by providing cash incentives, okay, tax incentives and relief institutional support, concessional interest rate, infrastructural assistance, loan assistance, tax exhibitance, tax holidays and transport concession, etc. Trade delegations are sent abroad to explore export potential for various products and services in various countries across the world. Bilateral trade agreements are entered into with foreign countries which offer bright prospects for the export. Besides the trade fairs and exhibitions to are organized for promoting international business. The government of India has set up the several institutions for the purpose of promoting export. So some of them they have to develop what are the items the government give us some promoting export by providing what are the facility to provide that import sorry export the companies. What is that? Cash incentives, tax relief, insurance support, then interest wise or infrastructure wise everything they provide and motivate the business enterprises. Export and Import Bank, EXIMB Bank, okay, Export and Import Bank, which is one of the specialized financial institution wholly owned by the government of India, was set up in the year 1982 for financing, facilitating and promoting foreign trade of India. So in our government, they own some setup of one bank, Export and Import Bank. They introduced in 1982 as link with the financing, facilitating and promoting the foreign trade of India. The main objective of Export and Import Bank is to coordinate the various activities of institutions and bank engaged in financing foreign trade. So in this objective means to aim of Export and Import Bank. What is that? To coordinate the various activities to interconnect the business. Let's see main function of EXIM Bank, Export and Import Bank. Main functions of Export and Import Bank are listed below. First one, it provides the direct financial assistance to exporter of a plant and machinery and related services. Okay. What is that? Exporters of a plant and machinery and related services. Okay, they provide a direct financial assistance. It underwrites the shares, debentures and bonds of the companies engaged in exports. It provides the re-discount facility in respect of export bills of the period not exceeding 90 days against the short-term export bill discounted in commercial banks. So they provide a re-discount facilities also they gave, and that not exceeding 90 days. Okay, they allotted certain times to the 90 days. It gives the overseas buyers credit and a foreign exporter for the import of Indian capital goods which are used to manufacturing export products. So buyer credit sales also they allowed to some business concern. Okay, it finances export oriented industries. It collects the provides the market and credit information about a foreign trade to those engaged in international business. So it collects the provides the market credit information who are all give that credit loan or credit purchases or credit selling. If we gave that information, they collected some or else to engage in international business. Children. Next one, role of commercial bank in international business. What is the role of a commercial bank? Let's see. Commercial banks provide the financial assistance in two ways. So this commercial bank also financial assistance for two ways. What is the namely pre-shipment financial assistance and post-shipment financial assistance. Let's see pre-shipment financial assistance. This is a type of assistance given to enable exporter to purchase a raw material, process them and create a finished goods for the purpose of export. So first one, exporter to purchase a raw materials, process them, create a finished goods for the purpose of export. அவங்களே என்ன பண்ணிடுவாங்க finished good கொடுத்துருவாங்க. Okay, this credit is given on the basis of exported orders and letter of a credit opened in a favor of overseas buyers. Next one, post shipment financial assistance. Post shipment financial assistance is an assistance granted in the form of advances on the basis of the bill of exchange and shipping document drawn under the letters of credit. This type of exporter finance is a grantor right from the date of a shipment of the goods of to date of a realization collection of export procedure for the process, meeting capital need, paying insurance charges, then ECGC premium commission and brokerage to agent exporter promotion expenses and so on and so forth. Okay, pre-shipment financial assessments is deals with what is it? See that first line. Assistance granted in the form of advance on the basis of bill of exchanges. Okay, and shipping document drawn under the letters of a credit. They gave some credit letters. I mean another letter மூலமா எழுதி வச்சிட்டா அதுக்கு வந்து ஒரு இதா தரது. Okay, purchase goods are they can deliver. Next one, objectives, export trade. What are the objectives? What are the aim? Let's see. The important objectives of the export included the following. First one, facilitating selling of a goods to countries which desperately need such goods. Separately, okay, desperately facilitating selling of a goods to countries to such a needs of. Second one, expanding the market for goods by producing them on a large scale. Expanding the market. So export means to expand the market and earning the foreign exchange through the export, helping the country increase the national income, creating the employment opportunity in a country by promoting the exporting oriented and export related enterprises, generating revenue for the government in the form of customs and exercise duties, promoting mutual understanding and cooperation among the nations, achieving the optimal utilization of resources by large scale production of goods. These are all the objective of export. Next one, export trade procedure. Already I told, as established or official way of doing something. An exporter has to fulfill the formalities given below to export the goods out of the country. An exporter has to fulfill the formalities given the below exported the goods. What are the goods? Okay, out of the country. Let's see. Receiving trade inquiry. Exporter receives trade inquiry return request, okay, from the importer, his agent who intends to buy the product. In the first place, the importer requests the exporter to supply the information given right below. What are that? Receiving inquiry. Supposed to be exporter, we import our goods now, some procedures we follow that. Okay, export la இங்கே நம்ம ஒரு goods அனுப்புறதுக்கு what are the procedure? Let's see. Specification about the goods like size, design, quality and brand name. அது என்னென்ன, அதோட நேம், அதோட சைஸு எப்படி இருக்கும், என்ன மாதிரி ப்ராடக்ட்டுங்கிறதும் we have to note it. Next one, quantity of a good available, price per unit, terms and condition of the shipment and terms and conditions of a payment, probable delivery time, the period up to which is proposal to import is valid. Okay, so these are all that receiving trade inquiry. Receive பண்றப்ப அவ்வளோ இந்த ட்ரேடில் வந்து இவ்வளோ என்கொயரிஸ் இருக்கும். Next one, receiving intent and sending the confirmation. After the scrutiny of quotation, அந்த quotations அவங்க என்னென்ன பண்ணியிருக்காங்க எல்லாமே performer or invoice, the buyer who intends to buy the goods enters in the intent to exporter. The latter may either receive the order directly from the importer through an agent who acts as an intermediary between the exporter and the importer. The agent receives the commission for this intermediating services, and intent actually points to an order receiving from abroad for exports of a goods like sales of goods. The intent of a contains the details in the box. See here, ஒரு திங்ஸை நம்ம சென்ட் பண்ணிட்டோங்கிற ஒரு கன்ஃபர்மேஷனில் இந்த மாதிரி சைஸ் தான். சி டெக்ஸ்ட் புக் பேஜ் நம்பர் 264. திஸ் இஸ் த ஃபார்மேட் ஆஃப் intent contains a detail in the box. Okay, See here, content of intent. என்னென்ன இருக்குன்னு பாரு. Quantity of a goods sent, design of goods, price, nature of packing, shipment, mode of shipment, period of delivery, and mode of payment. It's like online shopping நம்ம பண்ணுவோம்ல, அதிலே போட்டுக்க ஃப்ரீ ஷிப்பிங், இந்த டேட்டில் ரிசீவ் பண்ணுவீங்க, இவ்வளோ இருக்கும். நான் அந்த இஸ் அ எக்ஸாம்பிள், நாட் அண்ட் ஈக்குவல் டு எக்ஸ்போர்ட். Okay. Intent is a prepared duplicate. One copy of the intent and sent to the exporter, and second one is retained by the importer. One exporter இருக்கும், இன்னொரு வந்து importer இருக்கும். What is that? Intent of a prepared duplicate copy is kept in this record. அவங்க வந்து அதை ஒரு எவிடன்ஸ்க்காண்டி ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணி வச்சுக்கோங்க. Okay children, there are three types of intent, namely open intent, closed intent and confirmatory intent. Okay, அந்த intentல வந்து three types we can divide it. First one is open intent. What is that open intent? Let's see. It gives the complete freedom to exporter to choose a type of goods, price, quality, method of packing, etc. Open intent நமக்கு இஷ்டமானது, we whatever we like we select and export. Next one, closed intent. It does not give any freedom. So open intent we have freedom, complete freedom. In closed intent we are not have any freedom. Importer specifies the types of goods, price, quality, packing method, and so on, which should be strictly observed by the exporter. Exporter they have mean that exporter only decide all the authorities. Okay, they only decide the authority to sell to import the goods. Next one, confirmatory intent. An intent is to be confirmed by importer, his agent, and the confirmatory intent is sent by importer thereafter. So an intent is confirmed by the importer. So confirmatory intent means importer or exporter, and we have to confirm that importer வந்து அதை கன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணணும். Okay, next one, arranging letter of a credit. Under this stage, exporter intends to certify himself or herself about the trustworthiness of the importer. In this case, exporter is requested to arrange a letter of a credit in his favor. See here, see the example of letter of credit of sample. Letter of credit LC is an undertaking by its issuer that bills of exchange drawn by the foreign dealer on the importer will be honored upon the presentation by the exporter bank to the specified amount. In other words, it's a simply represents a guarantee given by the importer bank to the foreign dealer exporter. Okay, that the amount as a bill will be honored upon the presentation by the exporter his agent. There are different types of letter of credit. The letter of credit is opened only for the well established and reputed importer. ரொம்ப அந்த இம்போர்ட் இறக்குமதி பண்ணுறதுல வந்து எவ்வளோ எந்த பர்சன் எந்த பிஸ்னஸ் ரொம்ப கம்பெனி வந்து எக்ஸ்போர்ட்டாக அதில் வெல்லாக இருக்காங்களோ அவங்கள மட்டும்தான் இந்த லெட்டர்ஸ் வந்து யூஸ் பண்ண முடியும். It is a beneficial of both of exporter and importer. It is a benefits of both the categories. Exporter is assured the payment and need not bother about the credit worthiness of an importer. The letter of a credit simply transfers the burden of settling the transaction to the bank. They do not have any burden. They have to take, carry out to the bank. So importer also, exporter also, they can send through the bank. Next one, obtain the importer and exporter code, ICE and RBI code number. Exporter has to apply in the IAB NIRIAT form 2A ANF2A to the regional authority of the Director General of Foreign Trade, DGFT, in the region where the registered office of the company is located. Exporter has to mention the number in all the shipping documents. However, IEC is a number is not required to where the goods are exported, imported for the personal use, imported and not for the trade, manufacturer or agricultural. They are not using that. In the RBI code number, they are not using the personal use, only export and import only. Okay, children. Next one, obtain the registration cum membership certificate RCMC from Export Promotion Council or Commodity Board. An exporter is required to obtain RCMC, Exporter promotion, obtaining registration cum membership certificate from Export Promotion Council's Commodity Board Development Authority in order to avail himself or herself of export incentives, concessions and other facilities offered by the government. Example, cash compensatory support of a benefit of a promotional scheme from the government. So governmentally they give some incentives, export incentives and concession of the some activities related to that import and export activities. Okay, so the next one, manufacturing are procuring goods to packing items. See here, exporter steps into manufacturing and procuring of goods required by the importer, where the materials required for the manufacturing of a goods are subject to excise duty. The exporter has to apply the exporter commissioner for exception from the excise duty if the goods are meant to the exporter along with the invoice and other documents. The excise commissioner would issue excise clearance certificate if he is satisfied with the documentation made by exporter. If the exporter has already paid excise duty, he can get a refund from the Directorate of a Drawback functioning under the Ministry of Finance. If the mistake of manufacturing ஏதோ ஒரு இதில் பில்லில் கொஞ்சம் ஷார்ட்டேஜோ ஏதோ ஒன்று ஆச்சு, அந்த இன்வாய்ஸில் ஏதோ இதாகிடுச்சுன்னா already they noted the intimation of already they have some certificate. Is that, what is that certificate? See here, the excise commission would exist the excise clearance certificate. Okay, இதில் இந்த ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லைங்கிற சர்டிஃபிகேட் இருந்தால் மட்டுமே we can get a back. The exporter proceed to collect the goods from the factory or purchase it from the market. These goods have to be packed as per the specification given by the importer. If the instructions are not specifically given by the importer, the goods can be packed keeping in mind the safety and freight and charges in respect of the consignment. The goods packed or marked additionally to facilitate easy identification of a goods of specific importer. The markings reveals the name of the importer, port of destinations and weight of consignment. Okay children, so this is the some duties or some activities related to the manufacturing. So very important to two person, exporter and importer, they have all the certificates. Okay, export inspection counseling of India, let's see, export inspection certificate. After the goods have been packed as per the specification of importer, the exporter has to apply the export inspection agency to other design the agency in this connection. The agency send the inspector to the inspect the consignment meant of export. ஸோ எக்ஸ்போர்ட் இன்ஸ்பெக்ஷன் சர்டிஃபிகேட், நம்ம ஒரு இதை எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணுறோம்னா அதுக்குரிய எல்லாமே பேக்கிங்லாம் முடிச்ச பின்னாடி அதை வந்து என்னது இன்ஸ்பெக்ஷன், அதில் ஏதாவது ரொம்ப they have to follow the rules or not, they are sending what are the items they send, what are the items they export, everything they have to see or checking. Okay children, if the inspector is satisfied with the packing, he or she issues the certificate mentioning the goods exported adhere the specification of made by exporter. This certificate is termed as the export inspection certificate. It is a record by the customs authorities for the shipment of a goods. So this is one of a proof we have to send. We are clearance of the goods. We are not sending any wrong material to the other country. Next one, insurance of a goods. First of all, we have to take the insurance of a goods. Exporter has to arrange for getting the goods insured to protect them against the various risks like deteriorations, collision, immersions, fire, entry of a sea water, etc. as per the instruction of importer for any. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி இதில் வந்து கடலில் மூழ்கிறதா இருக்கட்டும், ஃப்ளட்டு, அந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது நேச்சர் டிசாஸ்டரில் டெமாலிஷ் ஆகிறதோ அதில் ஸ்பாயில் ஆகிறதுக்கு வந்து நம்ம என்ன பண்ணணும், we have to take a insurance. Next one, certificate of origin. Import or regulation of a foreign countries may require that all this import consignments must accompany a certificate of origin. This certificate certifies the goods which are exported have been manufactured in the particular country. In India, Chamber of Commerce, Trade Association, Export Promotion Council have been empowered to issue such a certificate. It will be sent to the importer. So certificate of origin, everything we have to send to the importer. This certificate helps the importer to get a concession on an import duty to the goods imported based on the bilateral trade agreement between the countries. So one country to another country we can send the goods. It's used to maintain some certificates to give over there to particular work. Next one, consular invoice. So where the customs duties are charged on the basis of the value of a goods at import port, the customs officer are empowered to open the consignment to calculate duties. In order to avoid this problem, exporter obtains consular invoice and sent into the over the importer. This document is signed by the council of importer's country, sanctioned in exporter country. Hence, the customs officers at the port of destination will not open the consignment and simply assesses the customs duty based on the value declared in the invoice. They simply accept the invoice and true statement of the content of the consignment. This is the format of an invoice. Let's see, children, your textbook, page number 267. 11th one, engagement of forwarding agent. After the export inspection எல்லாம் முடிஞ்ச பின்னாடி என்ன பண்ணணும் is obtained. The exporter has been obtained the clearance from the customs authorities. Generally, exporter encourage a clearing forwarding agent to fulfill the various custom formalities. The letter do it for fees. Okay. So engagement of forwarding agent. So on the counseling and the certificate inspection, everything is over. We have to hand over to the particular agent. Dispatch of a goods and port and sending the receipt to agent. The exporter will send the goods over to the port town by the rail or by truck and endorse the railway receipt or lorry receipt for forwarding to the agent's favor with the necessary instruction. So we have to send the dispatch, the date, time, place, everything to hand over to the particular agent. Next one, fulfillment of a customs formalities by the forwarding agent. So taking the delivery of a goods of a port town. So when the goods arrive at a port town, the forwarding agent takes the delivery from the rail or from the truck after the submission of a railway receipt. So when we get the goods, we have to submit the receipt and then get the goods. Then the agent arrange the storage of a consignment in a warehouse. So after that, the agent, he want to store all the goods in a one house, that one place. That place is called as a warehouse. Already we saw in that previous lesson. So next one, obtain the shipping order. So clearing and forwarding the agent approaches shipping company or its agent to book space in ship. And booking the space in ship, shipping company issues a document called a shipping order. It contains the instruction to the captain of the ship concerned to accept the consignment of a boat. Besides, it provides information about the name of ship, nature of goods shipped, the date of shipping, weight of a goods, port of destination and freight paid. Okay, after everything we have to hand over to the shipping. Okay, this is that. See here, this is the shipping order format. See your textbook, page number 268, children. Next one, charter party. The charter party is a formal agreement between the ship owner and the exporter under which exporter hires of an entry ship or a major part of a ship, either the particular voyage or for a specific time period when the shipping is a heavy. The hiring of a ship for a specific voyage is called a voyage charter, while this hiring of an empty ship for a specific time period is called this charter. The content of a charter party includes the following. So what are the contents in the charter party? Let's see. Name of the ship, place of loading, port of destination, name of exporter, amount of freight, everything in that. For example, we get in some bills from the shop, no? That like only we have to get. Next one, custom clearance. The export of his agent prepares the 3 copies of a shipping bill in a printed form. The shipping bill contains that Details like a name of address, exporter, description of a goods, value of a goods, volume of a goods, identification marks on the goods, port of destination and a port of loading, everything in that bill. Next one, there are three types of shipping bills for the three different categories of the goods, namely dutiable goods, duty free goods, and duty drawback goods. Forwarding agent proceeds to pay the export duty calculated by the customs officers in the case of dutiable goods. Next one, payment of a duck dues. After the payment of export duty, the forwarding agent arranges for transporting the goods to ducks. The agent fills 2 copies of the challan and submit to one the duck authorities along with the 1 copy in the shipping bill. Then the agent pay the duck charges. Duck authorities retain 1 copy of a challan and return the second copy of the forwarding to agent. The signed of a copy of called dock receipt and port trust receipt. See here, this is the format of receipt. Okay. Obtaining the permission for shipment. The forwarding brings the consignment over to the dock. The customs preventive officer sanctioned at the docks inspect the goods on the basis of a declaration in the shipping bills. This officers gives the permission to load the goods into the boat by issuing the customs export pass, or simply makes an endorsement with the wordings let ship on the duplicate copy of the shipping bill. Everything we have to submit and shipment of the bill. Next one, matters Maize receipt. Maize receipt is the document issued by the captain of the shipping acknowledgement of receipt goods on board by him in the port of specified destination. This contains details like a quantity of a goods shipped, the number of packages, condition of a packing, etc. Where the matters satisfy the packing, he or she issues the clean receipt. If he or she is not satisfied with the packing, he or she is issues full of a receipt. Forwarding agent should seek to get a clean receipt, otherwise insurance company will not bear liability for loss in case of full receipt. Okay children, this is the match receipt. இது வந்து clear இல்லைன்னா we will not get any insurance from the insurance office. Next one, bill of lading. Bill of lading refers to the document signed by the ship owner or by his agent mentioned the goods specified have been received and it would not deliver to the importer or his agent and the exporter destination if a good condition subject to terms and condition mentioned therein. So bill of lading is a content of a bill of lading. What is the bill of lading? What are the item? What are the content this there means? Name of a ship, date of shipment, place of boarding, port of destination, name, address of exporter, name and address of importer, description of the goods, number of packages, destination of market, mark on good, amount of freight. Everything is inside that bill of lading. Okay children, let's see 15th one. Preparation of commercial invoice and submitting the documents to the bank. Children, the exporter prepare the commercial invoice in respect of the goods shipped in duplicate according to the terms and condition agreed between the exporter and importer. They have certain agreement for the exporter and importer, certain terms and condition with some rules and regulations. Okay children, then the exporter submits all the related to the documents like commercial invoice, insurance policy, certificate of origin and a consular invoice, etc. So they have to submit some documents like commercial invoice, insurance policy and certificate of origin. They have to submit it to the importer to exporter. Okay children, to his bank and onward transmission of an importer's bank with an instruction that the documents should be delivered to importer only when he accept the bills enclosed. When they accept the bill, that time we have to submit all the documents to the bank. Children, next one, securing payment, bills of exchange. Bills of exchange can be two types. One is document against the payment, I mean DP. Document against the acceptance, DA. A document against the payment means in this case documents are handed over to the importer only against the payment of bill by importer's bank. In case they are omitting or they are against the payments means we will submit it to the through the bank children, or all the documents we can send to the bank. Document against acceptance. In this documents are released to the importer immediately after the expense of the bills of exchange sent along with the document of a title of the goods and agrees to pay the maturity date. If they accept the bills or loans means bills or exchange. Okay, what are the acceptance in one's terms? Automatically we have to submit all the documents to the bank. The exporters banks make payment through the importers bank either the immediately or at maturity date in case of census bill. This amount is then credited to the exporter account. Automatically the acceptance immediately the maturity date they have to decide it. They decided to the maturity date. For example, after 1 month or after the 15 days you have to pay the money. In these terms already they allotted, they have created in the rules and regulation, but also after the acceptance of the bill immediately they frame the maturity date children. Next one, bank certificate of a payment. After the receiving the payment for exports, the exporter has to get a certificate from the bank mentioning that the documents relating to the export have been presented to the importer for payment and the payment has been received from the importer as per the exchange control regulation. For example, bank certificate of a payment. If we want to pay the bill, we have a certificate, we have a bank of certificate we need that, and this is a one of a proof or evidence to the how much we can pay or how we will get the payment of money to the exporter children. So, and the payment has been received from the importer. So, we can, if they have a bank certificate means we have to write get the amount through the importer. Intermediaries in export trade. Intermediaries involved in export trade include the following. See here, export document. First one, document related to the goods, intent, certificate of origin and certificate of inspection. Second one is document related to the shipment. Max receipt, shipping bill, shipping order, bills of lading and marine insurance policy, consular invoice, railway receipt or lorry receipt. Third one, documents related to the payment, letter of credit, commercial invoice, bills of exchange and the bank certificate payment. See here children, difference between the bill of lading and charter party. See here, basis meaning. What is the meaning of bill of lading? This represents the document acknowledging the receipt of goods on board for carrying them over to the specified port of destination. Here charter party, it refers to the agreement to hire a whole or major part of a ship when the goods take exported in heavy. Transferable, it can be transferred to the third party by endorsement and delivery. It cannot be transferred to the third party. Loan can be raised against it. Loan cannot be raised against it. Charter party, they do not have to write to against the loan. Crew, master and crew remain the agent of ship owner. Master and crew become the agent of exporter for the temporary period. Lease, it's not a lease of ship, it's a lease of ship. In your textbook, page number 270 is the difference between a bill of lading and charter party children. Please read in 1 or 2 times. Next one, 272 in your textbook, forwarding agent and commission agents, export trading house. So forwarding agent, what do you mean by forwarding agent? Forwarding agent is appointed by the exporter to fill the customs and shipping related formalities and certain logistic function. They elected one person to complete all the work related to the importer. What is that? Let's see. Enlightening the exporters under relevant trade laws. If they followed rules and regulation or followed the law and rules, if they are followed or not, we can see through it. through the forwarding agent. Supplying the transport, handling cars, information exporter, assisting the export and packing, marketing and labeling, arranging the transport for exporter, assisting the fulfilling customs formalities, preparing and procuring documents, exposing exporter on the developments of happening in the transportation. So forwarding agent see through all the related to the importer or export the things children. Next one, commission agents. Commission agent is an international agent who is paid a certain percentage of a commission for the order booked by him abroad. He offers the product to potential customers in the territory allotted to him in accordance with the terms and conditions specified by the principal. However, there is no employment relationship between the agent and the principal of a relationship purely temporary. The agent gets only commission at the end of the deal. They got they have rights to get a commission alone, not in a profit children. Next one, third one, export trading house. What is that? It is nothing but is like a warehouses. Let's see. Export trading house has been established to increase the export, strengthen the global market capacity and get necessary facilities for the increasing export performance of our country. It contains the merchants, exporter, trading companies, export-oriented units, units located in export processing zones, electronic hardware, technology park, etc. This is nothing but they are all work in the related to the export work. That place is called as export processing zones, children. Next one, functions and services of the export house. The functions of the export house are mentioned below. What are the functions? Let's see. Number one, identifying the potential market for the product. So number two, finding the buyers and the agent and obtain their response for the export proposal. And establishing the product specification in the light and of the market needs, standards and regulation accordance with the supplier's capabilities. Determining the appropriate mode of transportation and routing keeping in mind the cost, quality of a service and security. Preparing the goods for the delivery at a destination, determining the buyer's credit worthiness, negotiating the transaction, arranging the proper insurance coverage against the maritime risk and currency fluctuations, financing the transaction and paying for good and service received. The 10th one, preparing the document for the international trade. Last one, settling claim. These are all the function of the export houses children. First one is identifying the potential market. So we have to see through that market. How is sell the products in very popular means you have to select the popular market. Okay. Second one is finding the buyers and the other agent. Who was the buyer? Who is the agent in that particular product? Third one is establishing the product specification in the light of the market needs. So more wanted place only they have to distribute the products. The fourth one is determining the appropriate mode of transportation. The consumer travel to that place to their product place. I mean market. We have such a facilities, free facility to the transportation. Next one, preparing the goods for a delivery at a destination at a correct time. We have to deliver the goods. Sixth one, credit worthiness. So how we are going to buyers oda credit worthiness then economic oriented we have to work at. Seventh one is negotiating transaction. Eighth one, proper insurance we have to take. The ninth one, financing the transaction, paying the goods and services received. How we are going to sell the goods, how we are get the payment. Next one, prepare the document international trade. Last one is settle them. These are the function of the export house children. In your textbook page number 273, India's export and import. See your tablet column, page number 273 children. India's major trading partners also you have to read it. Next one, import trade. Already I told what is the meaning of import. Let's see the meaning. Import trade refers to the purchasing goods and service from the foreign country. We are getting the goods from the foreign country. That transaction is called as import trade. Okay, for example, purchase of chemical by an Indian economic from France is termed as a import. Okay, நம்ம வந்து எங்க வாங்குற purchase of chemicals வந்து எங்க இருந்து வாங்குற France. So that is called as import. Okay. Next one, domestic purchase of goods is termed as an importer and overseas sales is called an exporter. So domestic Purchaser goods termed domestic purchases is called as importer and overseas sellers is called as exporter. Next one, objective. What are the objectives of import trade? Objectives of import trade have been highlighted here under. First one, achieving the rapid industrializations. Okay. Developing the countries can achieve the rapid industrialization by importing advanced technologies, scarce of raw materials, capital goods like machinery, equipment, etc., and talent from the other countries. So, developing the countries, we have to develop the industrial. So, we have to import the advanced technology to some other places. Next one, meeting the consumer demand. Certain goods are either not available or cannot manufactured produced adequately to meet the growing demand in the home country. So we have demand of some goods means we have to take other country. Hence import is necessary to meet the short supply of those goods. Next one, upgrading standard of living of a people. Consumers are able to use the wide variety of goods like a cell phone, car, laptops, television, audio system, washing machine, perfume, soaps, etc. manufactured in foreign countries and enhance the standard of living through the importer. Nowadays, the people have they have grace about foreign product children. Next one, meeting the storage situation during a famine, earthquake, flood, drought, tsunami, abnormal prices of increased situation, and so on. The food, grains, vegetables, and other essential commodities are imported from the foreign countries, and a bad situation arising from the above situation are thus overcome children. For some of the case we are getting this food or something we will get from the foreign country. Those which time is those of a natural disaster. If a flood or earthquake we have faced at that time means we are not have that much of product, so we are automatically we can get from the other country. Next one, strengthening the defense. Many countries around the world import defense equipments for the armed force. Such imports enable the countries to ensure the sovereignty and territory integrity. So, strengthening the defense. Many countries around the world import the defense equipments. So many. We are not only India. So many overall the surrounding of the world. So many countries they have to import the trades. Next one, import procedure. What are the procedure? Let's see. Import procedure varies from the country to country depending upon the foreign trade policy of a country. Government of India has framed rules and regulations. So it's not easy to get the things from the other country. We have some rules and regulation. Everything is created to the government. So under the government rule, we have to follow and export the things from the other country children. Next one, obtaining the import license. Importer has to secure the import and export the code, IEC, from the Director General of Foreign Trade of a regional authority. The Indian Institute of Classification, ITC, harmonized the system, classified the goods into the three categories, namely restricted, cancellized, the prohibited. Goods not specified to the above categories can be freely imported without நம்ம import பண்றோம் export பண்ற goods ஓட நேமிங் வந்து குட்டா இருக்கணும். That's why we have to send other goods, or that's the reason we have to get the other give the things to other country children. Import license is not required to the import the goods not mentioned this above classification, and import license is valid for 24 months. We have to take an import license. It's valid for 24 months. Capital goods of 18 months for the other goods. This is the format of that. On the letterhead of the exporter, let's see in your textbook page number 275. Importer has to submit the copy of ICA to the customs authorities. We have to submit all the copies to the customs authorities to time of clearance of goods. That's the reason we have to submit all the documents to the custom authorities. The second copy of ICE is used to obtain the foreign exchange from the RBI. Next one, trade inquiry. Having the obtained IEC, the entity importer has to make the inquiry from the exporter or his agent. So inquiry means to check the product or check the documents, check it whether that a particular date it has to be sent the particular place or not. Everything we have to check. That is called that work is under comes with that inquiry. Importers makes request by the email or a postal mail to supply the details given below. Specification of a goods like a size, design, quality, quantity of a goods available, price per unit, terms of shippings, terms of payment, a letter of credit document against the acceptance or document against the payment, probable delivery time, validity of offer period. So everything we have to note out on that. Everything we have to see through it on the inquiry time. Importer respond to the inquiry sending the performance invoice, obtain the foreign exchange. Since the importer has to settle the important bills for the foreign currency, has to obtain the foreign exchange. Importer has to provide a IEC code in the form of supplied authorized dealer to get a foreign exchange. The importer has to submit the application along with the necessary documents to the exchange of control department. I think is the RBI. Okay, we have to submit all the evidence or documents or the details of the goods, everything we have to shown and that where exchange of control department of RBI we have to submit. So after the scrutinizing the said application, the Reserve Bank of India will sanction the release of foreign exchange. After that only they have they will give the permission to export the things, children. Next one, placing an intent order. So importer places an order either directly or through the intent houses. The intent contains the details like a type of goods, design of goods, price, quantity, grade, packing, instruction, insurance, delivery mode, desired delivery period, mode of shipment, etc. So that nowadays we have seen in any product we have to see that manufacturing date, expiry date, who is published, where is published, where it's made, isn't it for China, made in China, made in India, everything is noted on the back of the product or under the ISI seals, children. Next one, opening the letter of credit, LOC. So where the foreign exporter does not know any Indian importer, he may like to ensure the credit worthiness to the unknown importer. In such a case, exporter may advise the importer to arrange for letter for credit in his favor. Letter of credit is a document under which issuing the bank undertakes to make a payment on behalf of the importer or to the order to importer in exchange for the specified documents from the exporter's bank. So the credit of the letter of credit is issued only in the financial sound importer. Exporter's bank eventually sends the document to issuing the bank which releases the payment. So this heading is opening the letter of credit is undertaking all over the related to the exporter and who can the pay, when will pay the money and which bank we have to settle that amount, everything is check it there, children. Next one, receiving the shipping document. Receiving the shipping document, the importer collect the shipping documents along with the advice note of shipment of the goods from the exporter. Advice note contains the written message through which exporter informs the importer about the dispatch of goods and advise him to make agreement for taking delivery of goods and arrival of goods at the port of destination. The captain of the ship informs the drug authorities about the arrival of goods on a document called the Import General Manifesto. So the customs authorities in turn inform the importer concerned about the arrival of goods at the port. So receiving the shipping document. For example, if we order any things through the online means already we can pay that cash on delivery or else through the online payment, isn't it, children? That through the online payment means we have a lot of request for that fill the application, isn't it? Fill that some columns, then only we have to get the goods. At the same like is receiving shipment means the captain of the ship inform the drug authorities about the arrival of goods. In the goods, in the time வருது, எவ்வளோ quantity வருது, அந்த goods ஓட name, everything they have to know. Okay, children. The customs authorities in turn inform the importer. So the custom authority informed to the who's that importer concerned about the arrival of goods at the port. ஸோ அந்த போர்ட் அந்த ஷிப் அந்த போர்ட்டில் எத்தனை மணிக்கு வருது, என்ன குட்ஸ் வருது, என்ன டைம் வருது, யார் பேரில் வருது, எவ்ரிதிங் who's the know that the custom authorities know that they have to inform to the importer children. Next one, appointment of a clearing agency. There are a lot of formalities involved in the clearing of a goods imported from the port. So goods எல்லாம் வந்துருச்சு, we have to clear, we have to get the things na, so many formalities is there. Let's see what is that. Normally importer does not feel comfortable with the completing the formalities by him. In this case he may delegate the task for clearing the imported goods from the port discharge to clearing the agent who is well versed in this job. யார் அதில் ரொம்ப well versed இருக்காங்களோ, யார் அதில் ரொம்ப trained இருக்காங்களோ, that person can easily to get the things to the port children. The porter send all the documents to the clearing agent to enable him to take a delivery of goods after fulfilling the customs formalities prescribed in this regard. So everything நம்ம வந்து ஈஸியாக we can get it's not easy to get the things to the port. So every document is a very well versed person alone, they have to know the rules and regulation procedure everything, so that person can be get the deliver the goods from the port children. Next one, fulfillment of the customs formalities. So clearing the agent engage the importer performs the following activities in the connection with the taking of a delivery of a goods from the port. So after that clearing, fulfillment of customs formalities also we have to clear it. So what is that? Let's see. Getting the endorsement of a delivery. The clearing agent gets a bill of lading endorsed by the importer in his favor to enable him to take a delivery of a goods and approaches the shipping company. But the freight is not paid, the clearing the agent pays it. The shipping company may give a separate delivery order after the collecting the freight charges, or it may simply endorsed on the bill of lading by the importer or by his agent itself as a proof payment freight charges. So getting estimate of delivery, the clearing of agent gets a bill of lading endorsed on the importer to his in his favor of enable him to take a delivery of a goods approaches the shipping company. So first of all we get the things we reached or else we get the information to the port means we have to clear all the clearance of a document children, everything we have to submit on that spot. Payment of a duck dues. The clearance of agent submitted the 2 copies of a filled application of a landing and shipping dues office. So we have to submit the application 2 copies of application from the whereas that landing and the shipping dues office. The office leaves the charges on the imported goods. So some charges they have to allot. They will give to us some amount of a receipt. The clearance agent to have the duck dues charges by the duck challan. The challan also there. Afterwards I will show you. After the paying the charges, landing and shipping due officer stamps on the application from the itself with the wording like a duck charges paid. So they have to enter that slip and the challan என்ன பண்ணிடுவாங்க duck charges paidங்கிறத நோட் பண்ணி கொடுத்துருவாங்க. Or it may be issue separate receipt called post trust dues receipt. Or else தனியாக இன்னொரு receipt இருக்கும். What is that? Post trust dues. அதில் வந்து எழுதி கொடுத்துருவாங்க. Okay, noted or paid or received. Okay, next one, preparation of bill of entry. See here, prepare specimen of bill of entry. Yeah, textbook page number 277 children, see this. A bills of entry is a prepared triplet of an order, pay custom duty. This document contains the details like a name and address of an importer, name of the ship, full description of a goods, number of packages, importer and exporter code, IEC, name of the exporting country and the custom duty payable. So everything in that எல்லாமே என்னது அந்த பேக் ஃபுல்லாக வந்து we have to store it for என்ன ப்ராடக்ட் எவ்வளோ பேஜஸ் உள்ள எவ்வளோ பேக்கேஜஸ் இருக்குது, யார்கிட்ட போகணும், யார் அதை சென்ட் பண்ணால், தென் எந்த டேட்டில் அங்கேருந்து டெலிவர் ஆச்சு, சென்ட் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க, எந்த டேட்டில் we have to deliver, everything is in that product. So bill of entry is issued 3 colors. So black form is a mean of non-tradable goods, while blue form is mean the goods within the country, or the violet. So 3 colors la divide பண்ணிருப்பாங்க அந்த bill of entry. One blue color means is within the country, inside the country. Violet is intended the re-export. Violet color தான் re-export, export பண்ணாத திருப்பி again நம்ம வந்து export பண்ணோம். Import duty is calculated on the basis of the details given the bill of entry is the customer's authorities. So 3 colors is a blue color. Blue form is means for the goods within a country, and violet in turn the re-export, and import calculated on the basis of given the bill of customs, where the importer clearing agent does not know the exact and full details about the goods imported. He will prepare the bill of site. He would provide as much as the details possible about the goods imported to extent of his memory, and with the specific remark that he cannot give complete information about the goods imported. In such a case, customs authority will complete the statement and import duty only after the assessing arrival of goods at the port of delivery. So many problems is there. So they have to segregate, they allotted the 3 colors of some bills children. So identification பண்றதுக்காண்டி பில்ஸையே வந்து கலர்ஸ் 3 கலர்ஸாக டிவைட் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. ஸோ ப்ளூ கலர்னா வித்தின் அ கண்ட்ரி, வயலட்னா ரீ எக்ஸ்போர்ட், தென் ஒன் அதர் வந்து என்னதுன்னா பிளைனாக நார்மல் கலர்ஸ்லேயே இருக்கும். இன் தட் பில்ஸ் வி ஹேவ் டு சப்மிட் ஆல் த டாக்குமெண்ட்ஸ். அதில் எல்லாமே இது பண்ணியிருந்தால் மட்டும்தான் தே கேன் டெலிவர் த குட் சில்ட்ரன். நெக்ஸ்ட் ஒன், பேமெண்ட் ஆஃப் இம்போர்ட் டியூட்டி. So the clearance of the agent importer submits the bill of entry and other recorded documents of the customs authorities. He pays import duty in case of dutiable goods to the customs authorities. We have to submit all the documents to the already we clear the clearing the agent of money. After that we are receiving the bill of entry. In the according to the colors we can deliver the goods, and in case of the dutable of goods to the customs authority. If you have any doubts, means we can clear that and the from the where is the customs authority children. Release order from the dock. After the payment of the customs duty, the bills of entry has to marked by the dock. So superintendent of an examiner or instructor to physically examine the goods. He gives his report on the bill of entry. So automatically he see through it which one is a bill of entry only. So that bill is shown to the within a country or a foreign country, or is there any problems, everything noted in the bill. No. So they have, first of all they notice it only in the bill of entry. The bill are passed over the port authority, he would issue the release order. So the customs authority release the bill or sanction the bill, means so okay, nothing is a problem in there, deliver the goods. Next one, getting the delivery from the dock. The clearance of an agent takes the delivery of a goods from the dock after the submitting the documents like port trust dues receipt, bill of entry and bill of lading. If the goods are imported or for re-export, the agent importer will deposit them in a bonded warehouses and receives the dock warrant. So already we store our product to some warehouses, no? So we have to give the money to the warehouses also, and receive the dock warrant. If you stored the goods to the warehouses, mean we will get some slip that's receipt, nothing but is a dock warrant children. Next one, dispatching the goods to the importer. The agent dispatches the goods to the importer by the rail or road. He gets a railway receipt or lorry receipt from the transporter. So dispatching the goods, how we will get the goods, rail or road, rail transport or road transport, is based on exporter only, isn't it? He gets a railway receipt. If the goods dispatch the railway, means we will get the railway receipt. If maybe road transport, railway lorry receipt we have. Okay. Next one, sending the advice to the importer. So clearing agent informs the dispatch of the goods to the importer and sends the railway receipt or lorry receipt with the statements of the expenses incurred by him and the commission payable to him for his services. So clearing agent informs the dispatch of the goods to importer, send the railway receipt or lorry receipt with the statement of the expenses incurred by him and the commission payable to his service. So everything on the service on the export bill, the payment importer we will get it. Okay. Next one, taking the delivery of goods. Importer take the delivery of goods from the railway or carrier after the producing the railway receipt or lorry receipt. So we will, and the railway receipt which transport they can use, or railway or roadway, is not a problem, but you have to submit the receipt children. Next one, settlement of an import bill. The importer settled the import of a bill in the following ways. Importer collect the shipping document after payment. So we have to, already we paid. So after that we have shipping document children. Okay. Next one, importer gets the shipping document after the payment of a bills of exchange in case of document against the payments. Importer get the shipping document after the giving acceptance of the bill of exchange in the case of document against the acceptance. Okay children, next one, documents used in import trade. What are the documents we can use in the import trade? Let's see. Import license. First of all, we have license, intent, letter of credit. Next one, import documents. Import license, intent, letter of credit, bill of entry, bill of site, port, trust, reduce receipt, bill of lading and bill of exchange, and the last one, advice note. Children, everything we have to. So document used in the import trade, these are all. Next one, India major for trading partners. Please see through it, your 278 in your textbook, children. Next one, intermediaries in import trade. Who are all the who are the agent? So intent houses are import agent. This intermediary is specialized in a particular trade. He charges a fees for his services. ஸோ அவங்க எதுக்காண்டி நம்ம இது பண்ணுறோம், அவங்களுடைய சர்வீஸுக்கு நம்ம சார்ஜ் பண்ணிடணும். இம்போர்ட்டர் ஹேஸ் டு என்டர் த கான்ட்ராக்ட் வித் த intent house to avail himself to his service. So next one, services are rendered by the intent house. What are the services? Are import agent. The services rendered include the following: helping the importer to get the order from the foreign country. So அவங்க அந்த சர்வீஸ், அந்த ஏஜென்ட் வந்து எதுக்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா, ஸோ இம்போர்ட்டருக்கு வந்து ஃபாரின் இருக்க குட்ஸ் வந்து அவங்களுக்காண்டி ஆர்டர் பண்ணி வாங்கி கொடுக்குறதுல அவங்க வந்து ரொம்ப ஹெல்ப்பாக இருப்பாங்க. செகண்ட் ஒன், ப்ரொவைடிங் த இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் அபவுட் த அவைலபிலிட்டி ஆஃப் குட்ஸ் ஆஃப் வேரியஸ் டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் அரேஞ்சிங் கிரெடிட் ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் டு இம்போர்ட்டர். ஸோ ப்ரொவைடிங் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் அபவுட் அவைலபிலிட்டி, எங்கெங்கெல்லாம் அவைலபிளாக இருக்கும், எந்த கண்ட்ரியில் ரொம்ப சீப்பாக ரொம்ப ஈஸி டு கெட் த திங்ஸ்னால் தட் கண்ட்ரி த இம்போர்ட்டர், தட் ஏஜென்ட் டு recommended to the importer. Children, next one, maintaining the regular contact with the exporter and obtaining the sample and transmitting the importer. So importer exporter ஒரு ரெகுலேஷன், ஒரு டிரான்சாக்ஷன், ஒரு மீடியேட்டர்ஸ் மாதிரி ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுவாங்க. சொல்கிறேன். நெக்ஸ்ட் ஒன், கிளியரிங் ஏஜென்ட். கிளியரிங் ஏஜென்ட் இஸ் ஸ்பெஷலைஸ்ட் இன் டு கிளியரிங் த குட்ஸ் ஃப்ரம் த போர்ட் ஆஃப் டிஸ்சார்ஜ் அண்ட் டெஸ்டினேஷன். த டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட்டர்ஸ் இட் ஓவர் டு த இம்போர்ட்டர். They fulfill the various customs formalities on behalf of the importer and get the goods cleared from the port. They charge a commission for their services. The agent help all through the department of to deliver the goods or get the goods. Children, it's all the work they have to give the services to particular work. So automatically the importer give the charges or pay the charges to his services agent commission, or we will give the some commission to the services. Children, that's all the lesson. Children, please read the lesson 1 or 2 times. Children.
Hi children, I hope you all understood the chapter. In this chapter, you have any doubt, please contact my WhatsApp number. Children, thank you.